My first ever Hinge date is a story for the book. Like, I think I'm top 10, like on a normal scale, top 10 worst first dates ever. Anyways, someone commented that they think I'm good at telling stories. That makes me happy. So, and my life is so eventful that I could give you guys a million of these and they're actually insane, and honestly even I can't believe that they're. Anyways, first Hinge date ever. I'm out of a relationship, a very long relationship. I just was like, I need to get back on the dating. I was in this relationship when I was in high school, so I didn't like do the thing where you like illegally download Hinge when you're a minor and like prank people into being pedophiles. Like, that wasn't really my jam. Anyways, so I download Hinge for the first time at 20. Everyone's already been at this for 2 years. I haven't. I've been out the game. I don't know how the fuck this works. Anyways, I matched with this guy who I thought was super cute, and he's like, "Do you want to go on a date?" I'm like, "Yes, sounds great." He's supposed to pick me up at 8. It's 7:30. I'm getting ready. I'm really fucking nervous. I'm literally shitting my pants over this. And he texts me and he cancels. He's like, "I have to pick my mom up from the airport." I'm like, "That's a fucking lie, you stupid idiot liar." Anyways, I'm like, shit. I'm fucking full face of makeup, hair done. I'm looking good, outfits on. I was so nervous too for this date, and then it just doesn't happen. I'm like, I have to make good use of me serving face right now. So I go on Hinge and I'm like, who the fuck's gonna take me out? This guy, let's call him Teddy. We're gonna call him Teddy. This guy, Teddy, he matches with me and he's like, "You're so pretty." I've never been on a date. I'm like, "Oh, thanks. This is so sweet." He's like, "What are you doing right now?" I'm like, "This is perfect, Teddy. Teddy, this is awesome. Teddy, this is perfect. Teddy, pick me up right now. Here's my address." Who let me do that? Actually, ever who let me? No, if I could go back in time and take this all back, I would have never done any of that. Teddy pulls up. My stomach, I don't feel anxiety like that. I'm a musical theater major. I practically like do the most nerve-wracking thing every day for a living. Nothing really brings me anxiety anymore. I was shitting bricks. I walk outside. It's dark out. My roommate walks me out because he's like, "I really don't want you to get kidnapped on your first date." I'm like, "Yeah, me too." So he looks at the guy and then I'm like, "Bye." And I get in this guy's car. Oh my God, idiot, stupid girl. Anyways, I get in this guy's car. It is literally, it looks like a kidnapping truck. It's rusty. There's paint peeling on the outside. I get in the car. It smells like a construction worker car. Not that I know what that smells like, but that's like the vibe it was giving. I have no idea if that's correct. It smelled like old wood and rusty nails in there. I thought, I'm dying tonight. This is actually it for me. I'm not making it out. He's like, "Hi." I'm like, "Hi." Literally like, "Hey." Anyways, Teddy's like, "What should we do?" "I don't know, Teddy. You said, what are you doing right now?" I said, "Pick me up." You didn't have a plan. So he's like, "Let's go get coffee." It's 8 p.m., maybe 8:30 at this point. I'm like, sure, you know what? If that's your prerogative, an espresso at 8:30, like, let's do it. We go to the nearest coffee shop that's open at 8 p.m., which there was one literally down the block from me. I don't even know how. He parks the car. I kid you not. He parks the car. He gets out. Shorter than me. Don't get me wrong. I love a short king. I don't know if I can do 5'4". Sue me. Anyways, we get out of the car. I realize he's really, really short. I'm like, fuck. So we walk to this coffee shop. We parked about 3 blocks away from this coffee shop. He sees a bar nearby and he's like, "We should go in." I'm like, I'm 20. I don't have a fake ID. I don't know how this is gonna go down. He walks in the bar. He doesn't say anything to me. He walks in the bar and I have a video of this. I have a video of me standing on the street going, he just left me on the side of the street to walk into a bar. Anyways, we get to the coffee shop. This guy's like trying to buy me coffee. I'm like, "I don't want a coffee at 8 p.m. You go do your thing though." He gets an Americano. He obviously doesn't get Americanos often. He was just trying to get something sophisticated because he was like, "This tastes like shit." And I was like, "You order something that tastes like shit, it's gonna not taste good." Sorry if you're like an Americano fiend out. I don't mind an iced Americano, but hot Americano is just like battery acid in a cup. So we're sitting, we're talking. The conversation's boring, but I'm there for the plot. That finishes up. We get back to his car. If I'm being honest, I knew we were close to mine, but I didn't know where I was in retrospect. Because we like parked blocks and turns down. So I knew I was in walking distance of my apartment, but I didn't know how I was gonna get home. And I was just like, well, I hope this date goes well, and he drives me back. Anyways, we're sitting in his car, we're talking, the conversation's fine. I don't even want to repeat. He looks me dead in the tits and he goes, "You have a perfect rack." That face you just made in reaction, that was my face too. I think I just looked at him like that, just like a lot of fear and just like, why the fuck did that come out of your mouth? Oh, but it doesn't stop there. He goes, "I bet you're are perfect too." Oh my god, someone save me. I don't want to be in the car with this guy anymore. You're 5'4". Who made you nipple king? Anyways, directly after that, no time for me to even think of a response. He goes, "How much do you weigh, 80 pounds? Rhetorical question. He had the answer in his head. 80 pounds? Have you ever held 80 pounds in your hand? That is the size of a large toddler. An average toddler. Anyways, I didn't know what to say. He started touching me. I said, "I just really want to go home. I would rather just go home. Please take me home." Eventually, he takes me home, thank God. And I get back and my roommate was like, how was it? How was it? I said, "Never let me go on a date ever again. Ever again in my life. I never want to go on a date. I never want to meet another man actually ever again in my life." Anyways, here's the text to prove it. Hope you're doing well, King, though. Yeah.
If you need proof that men know exactly what they're doing and that they always come back, I have a dating story time for you. 2 years ago, I was living in San Francisco. I had just moved there, didn't have a lot of friends in the area, and I was single, so I thought I would get on the dating apps and try to date and meet someone. Back then, I think Tinder was still okay, like wasn't shady, so I was on Tinder and I wanted to meet someone that looked like me. At the time, I was only dating within my race. If you know anything about San Francisco, the city, not the Bay Area, it's diverse, but it's not diverse with people that look like me. So it was already really difficult to meet someone, but winner, winner, chicken dinner, I met a man who was tall. He looked really handsome in his photos, and he seemed to have a good career, all the things that I was looking for in San Francisco, okay? So this man plans drinks for us, and I'm still learning the city, but I quickly learned that where he chose for the drinks is walking distance for me. And then I find out on the date that he actually also lives walking distance for me. So I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's gonna work. So I show up to the first date. I look immaculate. I have on a literally stunning dress. I wanna make a good impression. This man is at the bar. It's a restaurant, but he's at the bar. He's already like 2-3 drinks deep. I can tell by the way he's acting, and he's so loose. Like I can tell he's already had a couple drinks. I sit down next to him at the bar. He's very touchy-feely immediately. Like this should have been like a red flag. But here I was thinking, okay, he's had a couple drinks, and I mean, I do look really good. So I'm like, it's fine, whatever, don't be weird, just enjoy the date. So I'm trying to get to know him, but like I said, he's so touchy-feely, and he's just kind of like being very surface level. I was getting a little turned off. I had maybe a drink and a half, and I was like, listen, I'm just gonna go, I'm gonna go home. I just wasn't vibing, I wasn't feeling it, and I thought, this is so disappointing because he's good looking, he's tall, he's got a nice career, but like, what is going on here, right? So I go home, I kind of forget about it. I literally, maybe 2-3 days pass, and I get a text message from him. And he says, "I am so sorry about our first date. I would really like to make a better impression on you. Can I take you to dinner this weekend?" So here I'm thinking, great, please make a better impression. I was hoping that this wasn't the case. So yes, let's go to dinner. So I agree. The day of the dinner date comes, and I have a new dress that I'm gonna wear. I'm like excited. I am doing my makeup. It's about an hour before I'm meant to meet him. And I'm like getting dressed, and I get a text message from him saying, "Hey, I am so sorry. I just am not feeling that well, and I don't know if I could make it through a whole dinner. Would it be okay if we did a movie tonight and we did dinner another night?" And I thought, okay, this is annoying, but like my face is already beat. Like I've already done my makeup. I have my outfit. We're going somewhere. So I was like, okay, movie's fine. So I actually end up revising my outfit and just like wearing jeans or something, because I'm like, I'm not gonna get dressed up for a movie, but my makeup is already done. So I'm like, whatever. About 25 minutes before we're supposed to meet, I get another message from him that says, I am so sorry. I actually don't even think I want to sit through a movie. Would it be okay if we just ordered food at my place? I still really want to see you. Let's hang out and just like chat and watch a movie at my place. So me being a nurse, I'm thinking, oh, don't worry. We don't have to order dinner at your place. I'm an idiot. Okay. Just keep that. I get it. I know. There's red flags. So I'm like, no, we don't have to order dinner at your place. I'll just bring you some chicken noodle soup from Whole Foods. So I go to Whole Foods and I pick up some chicken noodle soup for this man because he's ill. He's sick. Okay? So I pick up chicken noodle soup. I walk to his place. And as I'm walking there, I'm literally thinking to myself, dinner date turned into a movie, turned into now you are walking to this man's place. What is wrong with you? Like, get it together. I'm like upset with myself. I get to his door, I knock on the door, and this man opens the front door wearing shorts, no shirt, and a silky, satiny robe. Okay? I literally I'm in disbelief. I'm like, I thought you were sick. Like, I was expecting him to be in like sweats and like maybe with tissues. No, his abs are on display. He's like in a satin thing. I was like, okay. So I'm like, here's your chicken noodle soup. And I walk into his apartment and I immediately notice he's in a loft with no furniture. No furniture. No furniture in the loft, okay? I'm like, I'm gonna get murdered. This man is going to murder me. He's now closed the door behind me. I notice in the back corner of the loft is a bed with a laptop open. And I think to myself, there is no way that he thinks I'm going to go sit on this bed with him. Well, he goes over to the bed. He like rubs it like this. And I am like slowly walking over and I'm thinking, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? So I sit down on the bed. He like opens it up. He like goes on, I forget, some, website. And he's like, what movie do you want to watch? And I just got so creeped out. Like my whole body was like, you need to leave. So I got up and I left. I ran the fuck out of there. I blocked him and I never planned on hearing from him again. Fast forward 5 years, I am in New York City. I am engaged to a man who is not my skin tone, okay? I'm living in New York City with him. And I'm walking to a client's office and I hear a man screaming my name, Yaya, Yaya. And I think to myself, what the heck? Who's calling my name? The guy from San Francisco is in New York City. He runs across to me and he goes, oh my God, I thought it was you. I just really wanted to apologize to you. I reached out to you a bunch of times, but I couldn't get a hold of you. I know what I did was messed up. I thought that I could just get you in my house and I was really messed up for doing that. I'm so sorry. And I would love the opportunity to take you out again. I said, you know what? I'm engaged. And that was that. I just like walked away from him. But ladies, trust your gut, okay? I was silly. This was years ago. I was silly and I did not trust my gut. Secondly, he knew what he was doing. And if given the opportunity, he would have gotten away with it and he would have never apologized for it. But I held my standard. Well, not really, but I sort of held my standard and I left, which made him realize he could not get away with that. And I hope he never tried that on any other women. But yeah, ladies, they know what they're doing. They know.
Story time of the time I went on a great date that did not end up being great at all. So I was on Tinder for a short time. I just needed something to do. I figured, let's see who's out there. I work as a CPA. My schedule is not conventional. It's kind of hard to meet people when you're working all day. So I connect with this really good looking guy and he's Portuguese. We quickly bond and connect over the fact we're very family oriented and we have very similar cultural values. And actually the opening line of our conversation is, you wear shoes inside the house, to which we both said no. So he asked for my number, and I'm like, sure, let's keep this going over text. Tinder's kind of hard to check, and being on the app, whatever. I do my background research on Facebook. He looks the part, he looks normal, it's fine. I give him my number. We continue to chat over text. We literally talk so much that he was like, you know what, let's just meet up in person. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So he sets up plans to go to a bar that's close to me, and he offers to drive me there. And I say, no, you know what, I'll take an Uber. So he drives up like 30 minutes to come near me and to go to this bar. I show up in an Uber, as I said, so I get out of the Uber. He's waiting for me outside. Exactly who he said he would be. 6'4", really good looking guy, put together, well groomed, smelled great, gave me a hug, and we walked in. He grabbed the door. We walked in. From the moment we sat down to the moments the lights came on, we did not stop talking. Like, we had something to talk about the whole time. Like, it was going so well that he literally grabbed my phone. And he was like, let me find myself on Instagram and let's follow each other. And I was like, okay. I mentioned that I only know one person from his town. It's my girlfriend from college. He didn't know her, but, not surprising. New Jersey is small, but not that small. We talk again about family, goals, career, all that, hobbies, everything. Eventually, the lights on the bar turn on, and they're like, okay, you guys got to get out of here. So I put my card to pay. The man literally is like, no, jumps over me, grabs my card, and pays for our drinks, which I always appreciate. So we actually have to leave now because we've paid the bill and we kept talking and we're still there. So he's like, do you want to ride? And I was like, yeah, you know what, fuck it. Like, I know who you are. I don't have to call an Uber back. Like, I'll go with you and get this ride. When I tell you he parked in the back of this bar parking lot, and like I said, pretty much everyone left, I was like, oh my God, am I like gonna die now? His car is literally next to the dumpsters, like in the back of the parking lot. As we're walking to the car, he makes a joke about how dark it is and how discreetly he parked his car. Well, he opens his car door for me, gets in, and that's it. He drove me home. He was normal. He drove me home. That's all fine. It's all good so far. Drives me home, drops me off. When he drops me off, does not make a move for anything weird, doesn't try and kiss me, nothing, says he has a great night, yada, yada, yada. We probably talked for another 2 hours that night once he got home. Immediately, he's like, considering my busy schedule, he's like, let's do something again. We make plans for Monday night trivia. We're so excited about these plans. We're talking all weekend, and we're so excited to do trivia at this, again, local bar near me. Very considerate. So our original bar meetup was on a Thursday. We talk all day Friday, we talk all day Saturday, and then on Sunday I check in, and I knew he had a late shift, again, knowing his career. And I was like, hope you had a good shift, blah, blah, blah. My text doesn't get delivered. Okay, whatever. A few hours later, I text him again, hey, we still on for tomorrow? It goes green. In my head, I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, we had a great date. He's probably in an area with no cell phone reception. Again, I understand his job. Well, I just so happened to just think, let me go on Instagram and let me go see his Instagram in case he posted anything. I no longer see his Instagram. That's weird. So I go back to trust the old Facebook and I go to look at his Facebook profile, even though we never connected on Facebook. His Facebook is also gone. Weird. So I tell my friend the story, the one friend that I knew from town. I'm like, do you know about this guy at all? Like, she's like, no, I don't really know him. I've never heard of him before. Let me look him up on Instagram. She cannot find him on Instagram. So her fiance goes to look him up. The fiance can see him on Instagram. So this man went out of his way to block me and the one girlfriend I mentioned that I know from his town. Weird. I was absolutely ghosted. We have not talked since, right? Well, months go by. Months. And I'm now in a 4-month relationship with my current boyfriend. And I'm just scrolling through people who liked my picture that I posted on Instagram and looked at my story. And what do I see? The man from that night that ghosted me was watching my stories. I have not thought about this man. I put him out of my mind. He ghosted me, whatever. I moved on. Clearly came into a predicament where I met an even weirder situation and I'm in a long distance relationship. But what? So, the moral of the story is really nothing. I have nothing to conclude here. That guy was Portuguese. My current boyfriend is Portuguese. So I must have summoned the Portuguese gods to do me a favor after, they left me high and dry. But, like, what a weird lineup of events. And we still, to this day, have never talked again.
Bad date story number 2. This one, I don't almost get murdered. So I feel like we're making progress in the 21 era of Tiffany. I met this guy through a mutual friend. And he was in the military back home for, like, some sort of leave or something. We went on a date to downtown Seattle, and it was really fun. We had some great food. We went to a record store. It was just kind of like one of those very chill, happy sort of dates. Everything was going very well. We decided to parlay that date into dinner later that night. I had to go back to my place to watch a movie and kind of wait out till dinner. On the way to my apartment, he suddenly goes, "Tiffany, can you please speed up?" And I'm like, "Okay, is everything okay?" And he goes, "I feel like I'm gonna be sick." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I can pull over." And I kind of like make a move to pull over. He's like, no. Like, just get me to your apartment. I'll be fine. And I'm like, okay, this poor guy is about to throw up in the car. Did he drink last night? Is he hungover? Is he sick? Did he have food poisoning? Like, thoughts are going through my head, okay? We get to my apartment, and the poor guy barely makes it to the bathroom before he ends up getting sick. I obviously understand that if he got sick, we're definitely not having plans for the rest of the day. So I offered, to let him sleep in my bed because he was sick. I felt bad. He ends up sleeping well into the evening, and I go in to check on him, and he's awake and saying that he feels so much better, so much more rested. So I kind of assumed it was a little bit of a hangover if he was feeling better so quickly. And he wanted to go back out to dinner. At that point, I had already kind of wound down for the day, but I didn't want to stop hanging out with him because he truly was given like green flags everywhere. Suggested that we just order food in and watch a movie from my apartment, and he was very down with that. That went well. He felt great. Food was settling awesome, and he ended up staying the night. In the middle of the night, I wake up and I hear the shower running. I'm like, that's weird. I turn my body because there is a stench going into my little nostrils, and I'm like, what is that? Turn my body, and quite literally shit the bed everywhere. Listen, I understand things happen, but wake a girl up. He literally did this, got in the shower, and didn't tell me. So what, I just roll into it? Is that what was going through your brain when this happened? I obviously was much nicer than the reaction I'm having now because it's been almost 10 years. So I took the sheets off. I went downstairs. That's where our laundry was. Put the sheets in the washer, changed the sheets out. And by the time I did all of that, I had come back and he was out of the shower. And I, was like, "Hey, is everything okay?" And he was really embarrassed, of course. So I felt super bad. And I just said, "You should have woken me up. I could have, helped," or I don't know. I was just like, "Next time you just wake me up." And he goes, "Oh, there won't be a next time." Drift back off to sleep. And what do I find but waking up to a smell and the shower running again. I go through the process of changing my sheets again, and now I'm on my last pair of sheets. I'm a college student. I only had 2 sets of sheets, okay? Down to laundry. Pull out the old sheets, go back up. He's out of the shower. And I'm like, "Are you feeling okay? Do you want me to take you home?" He goes, "No, like, I feel fine. Like, I don't know, just something's going on." And I was like, "I totally understand that things happen. Would you mind if I laid a towel down if you're going to stay over here?" And he got super upset with me. And I think it just came from embarrassment. But he was like, "Why would you want to lay a towel down? Like, I'm fine." I'm like, "Well, I mean, it's the second time it's happened, but okay." So we go to sleep a third time. And a third time. I not only wake up to a smell again, I also wake up to him throwing up in the bathroom. So I'm like, "Okay, you're sick. We need to figure out what's going on." And so I go in to check on him, and he was puking up red. Granted, he had drinking red Gatorade, but at the time I was like, okay, maybe this is blood. So I'm taking you to the ER. Take him to the I'm so sorry. So I take him to the ER. We go back to the room. We're sitting there, they're doing kind of their intake. And the nurse is talking to him, and the poor guy shits himself again in his jeans. And he like gets up and he just like waddles to the bathroom and they have to give him a pair of shorts. And I felt super bad. Like looking back, it was kind of funny. I never actually figured out what was wrong, like what sickness he had, but it is safe to say that after that little experience, we didn't really talk anymore.
I just got back from the worst date. Already there were some red flags, but when we first met, we hit it off, so I wanted to give it a shot. He was texting me things like, next Easter, we're gonna be doing this. Our second date, we should go here. We're on the phone today. He says, our firstborn is gonna be named this. I respond, sir, let's get through the first date. He turns it around on me, says, that's crazy you'd bring up baby names already. I didn't. I'm not crazy. Saying how he's gonna surprise me with where we're going for dinner tonight, but it's gonna be a steakhouse. He says wear something black and tight. Never gonna happen. I'm wearing something white and oversized because I've been through that. Not happening again. But I ask him if I should wear a dress. Is it fancy? He says if I want to. So I'm assuming it is. He says be ready for 6 and he'd call me an Uber. So I'm ready for 6, waiting on him to text me. No text. So I text him question marks at 6:15. He reprimands me, says, tisk, tisk, can't believe it took you so long to tell me you were ready. So starting it off on like a weird note. I finally get in the Uber he calls, but it's some random address and I can't figure out where I'm going on Google. So I ask him what the name of the restaurant is so I can meet him there. He won't tell me where we're going. He's like, just get out on the corner, wait for me. So I get out and I'm waiting on this random street corner. I see him get out of his apartment building and walk across the street. And so obviously he chose somewhere super close to him, which is fine, but then don't be late and make me wait for you. We go into the restaurant. It's the Keg. It is the Keg. Don't get me wrong. I love their food, but don't like actually get some big surprise and gonna be so fancy. I'm so embarrassed. I'm in my fur. I am in heeled Alexander Wang boots. Like I'm so embarrassed. We sit down, he starts talking about himself and doesn't stop for 15 minutes. Doesn't ask me a single question about myself. So finally I say, do you wanna know anything about me? He says, I'd rather make my own opinion of you, and I think I already have one. Proceeds to tell me who I am as a person, even though he knows nothing about me. He lists the qualities, tells me I'm super close with my parents. I'm not talking to them right now, sir. We are estranged. Tells me I'm shy and submissive. Are we on the same date? Because I'm not. I'm like talking over him every time he interrupts me because I'm like, it's just so rude. Our appetizers come. I'm in the middle of a sentence. He puts a bite of food in my mouth, so I have to stop talking so he can talk. Like, it happened 3 times. So rude. Then he says how women should be submissive and men should always have the final decision and that, you know, they're competent and women should just trust men. And boundaries are super important for men, but women should break them for men. So offensive and just, no. He starts talking about money, which I hate on a first date because I just think it shows that a man's insecure. I'm not dating for money. I don't care how much you make as long as you're stable. But also, if you're painting yourself as this high roller like he was and like bragging about how much he pays when he goes to Miami for an Airbnb, it grosses me out. It's so unattractive. And I actually don't think you make that much working with DJs. I'm sorry. Then he says something sarcastic, and I didn't catch the sarcasm because we're still getting to know each other, obviously. And he makes me feel so dumb about it. He was just so rude about it. He's like, I can't believe you didn't catch that. That was obviously sarcasm. So I go to the bathroom because I'm just like trying to hit my emotional support vape and waste as much time as possible so I can leave. I should have just left like within 2 minutes because I knew I didn't like him, but I just get nervous. Every time I talk, I just see him staring at my body and it makes me so uncomfortable. And it's like, you don't actually care what I have to say. And that's the problem with dating in Toronto is every single date that I go on, no man actually asks me a question. They don't care to get to know me. They see a woman and they think, she's my type. I would want her to look nice beside me, but I'm not actually gonna get to know her. I don't care to understand her. Finally, he asked me a question about myself. He says, what's your biggest turnoff? And I say, which is the truth. I tell him it's when people interrupt me and when people listen to respond and not understand. The rest of the date, he keeps interrupting me, but at least he acknowledges it. But then he just keeps talking every time over me. It's so rude. Finally, our steak comes. I have a couple bites, Tell him I gotta go. I have an early morning. I was in and out within an hour. I didn't even wait for our plates to be cleared. I was so done. And this man was just so unaware that I was having the worst time. I didn't smile once. And I'm just so over dating in the city. Every single boyfriend I've ever had here is the worst person you've ever met. I'm done.
So let's talk about my date from hell. Over the weekend, I went on a first date with this guy. He wanted to take me on a helicopter ride over like uptown Charlotte. So, and the day of the helicopter ride, he sends like an Uber black truck to my house to pick me up. So I get in the car and I get this text from him, and I'm gonna read it verbatim because I thought it was so irritating and unnecessary. He texts me and he says, I would have sent my personal driver instead, but I want to see where this goes first. First of all, I didn't ask for a personal driver, nor do I care, nor is it relevant to what we're talking about right now. It was giving, you just wanted to let me know that you had a personal driver. Congrats to you. So I get to the, I think they call it, whatever, the helicopter takeoff place, whatever it's called. And I see him and he gives me a hug and everything's going, we're talking it up. I'm so excited, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, oh, look, I really like your outfit. I have a essay at Hermes that can get you a few matching bags if you'd like. So I literally say nothing. Like, I'm just like, staring around. I'm just, getting ready to have a good date. You know what I mean? And I can feel his binoculars burning into the side of my head as I'm looking away because I don't want to give him the reaction he so badly wants from me. I can feel him staring into the side of my face, burning holes through my cheek. So I look over and he goes, what? You're surprised I have a sales associate at Hermes? Yo, I literally cannot make this shit up. Like, I'm like, is this an episode of Punk? Like, am I being pranked right now? Y'all funny. This is a prank. So I'm like, oh, okay, if you're gonna make me uncomfortable, I'm gonna make you uncomfortable right back. So he says that, and I just look at him. Now it's awkward for everybody. Now it's awkward for everybody. It's giving, you don't want a girlfriend, you want an audience. And I'm not gonna be that for you, boo. We're passing over this like gated neighborhood, and I wrote down exactly what he said to share with you guys because y'all know I'm a documentation queen. Okay, he looks word from word because I wrote it down. So we're passing over this gated neighborhood. He's looking out the window, to which he then says, yo, my landscaper been slipping. Somebody's getting fired. He wanted me to know that we were flying over his house and he could see his yard and he has a landscaper. Listen, boo. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. I don't give a rat's ass about your landscaper or your haunted mansion. Boo, I don't care. I'm trying to chill and you're interrupting the goddamn vibes. I'm getting irritated. So we were supposed to go to dinner after the helicopter ride, and I had brought me a suitcase because I didn't have enough time to go home, so I was going to change at his house, and then we were going to go to the dinner. After that extravaganza of a date, I'm like, I'm not going anywhere with you, boo, because I'm irritated. You know what I mean? I just want to go to a quiet dinner. I don't want to get the steak for yay, and you talk about something, yeah, I know the man that owns this building. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I created steaks. I'm the first man to ever eat a steak. Whatever you're about to say, I don't care about none of that. So once the ride was over, I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I don't really feel too good. Like, sometimes planes do that to me. I'm just going to go home. Like, I don't really feel the best. And he's like, word? He looks me dead in my face and goes, my doctor makes house calls. Do you want to go back to the crib? As long as you don't care that it's not that clean because my maid doesn't come until Tuesday. Mind you, he said maid. He literally said maid. Who calls them maids anymore? Like, a house cleaner, nobody calls them maids anymore. Do you have a butler too, Batman? Yeah, I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, sir, they did not stop making wealthy men when they made you. You know what I mean? You're not the only one around here with a cup of change and a nice house. Get over yourself. Jesus.
So I'm going to tell you about a date I had a few weeks ago, and trigger warning, it's a little scary. So essentially, I met this guy a few months back, but I was in a relationship back then, and really it was more of like a professional thing. So he kind of baited me and said, let's talk about, you know, this and that, like network a little bit over dinner. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I go, we have a nice dinner. He's nice. He seems to be like a nice, decent person and just like a fun guy to be around. So then when he invited me to go to like a comedy thing, like a private comedy show, I was like, amazing. I love stand up. Like, let's go. And it was a great time. He introduced me to a bunch of people. But then he was like, let's go to this house party that my friends are hosting. So I'm like, sure, we go, blah, blah, blah. And around this time, I decide that I want to stop drinking. So I get my little solo cup. I go to the sink. I'm filling up my water and I just start making nice casual conversation to this guy sitting like next to me. And he's in film, blah, blah, blah. So I'm asking him, it's interesting. And then like 5 minutes into this conversation, while I'm just like sipping on my water, the guy that I essentially came with, but like keep in mind, it was not really a date at all for me. Like it never started this way. He comes up and he's like, what? Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Are you talking to my girl? Like, what are you doing talking to my girl? And I'm like, oh my God, like what is happening? Like, let's just calm down. Like, oh, first of all, I'm thinking like, I'm not your girl. Like, what the fuck? But he's like, what the fuck? You're talking to my girl? And then just punches this guy in the face, like in front of me. Nobody saw. Nobody in the whole party saw. So it was just me and this guy in complete shock. We're sitting there in silence for 5 seconds. And then I'm like, I gotta go. I'm leaving. So as I'm calling my car, I'm like getting my coat, getting everything. I'm just getting ready to leave. This guy is following me and berating me and saying, you fucking disrespectful bitch. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, I brought you to this place and like you're talking to other guys. Like, what the fuck? Like super, very machismo. Very aggressive. I'm going outside waiting for my car. He's following me. I feel unsafe being out there with him alone. So I'm like coming in and coming out. But then eventually my car comes and as I'm getting in the car, he's like, bye bitch. Like, fuck you bitch. And that was essentially that. So now I'm like really fucking scared to, like this guy seemed totally normal and decent, whatever. And just like that, he switched. Like, he just switched in a second. And it was violent. So I don't know. It's definitely going to alter, like, how who I decide to spend my time with. And stay safe out there, girls. It's crazy.
I had such a bad date experience last night that I canceled the date I was supposed to go on tonight because I woke up feeling so icky. Oh my God, dude, you made the dinner reservation. I didn't even want to do dinner. I'm also going to share my thoughts on online dating, app dating at the end of this because all it takes is one date. I'm usually not a dinner for the first date type of person. I would never pick that if it were up to me. But I got a sense from this person's prompts on Hinge. By the way, this is the first and last Hinge date that I've ever been on. I got a sense that he didn't drink. So I'm like, whatever, we can do dinner. So we go to this restaurant, which by the way, my cousin who's like a huge foodie, she's in hospitality, was like, don't go to this restaurant. But I already tried to give one excuse and he wasn't quite getting the vibes that I didn't want to go there. So I'm like, whatever, I'm just going to be easy and go there. I text him, I'm 5 minutes late. Why does he text me he's also 5 minutes late? Why are you not already sitting at the restaurant? As we're walking into the restaurant, he gives me like an up and down of my outfit. Doesn't say it. He's not like, nice outfit. He just kind of stares at my outfit, walks inside. He almost takes the better seat and I like swerve. I'm like, no, I'm facing the restaurant. You're not sitting there. Immediately we get into what I do for work, which like, I am proud of my work. I'm proud that I work for myself. But I think there's a bit of nuance to it, like owning a stationery business. Like it's big. Like, you know, we're doing like exciting stuff. We just worked with Pamela Anderson and we just worked with Madewell and we're working with Rosewood. And like, obviously, I don't even know why I'm externalizing to all of these like outside companies to legitimize it because it's an amazing company that I'm building. But immediately like I say what I do for work. I say that I do social media. His response to all of that is, oh, I don't have Instagram, which also wasn't true because later in the night he was on Instagram, which I'll get to. So kind of immediately just makes me feel like weird and shitty about my job, which I already have been doing so much work to like not feel that way for 15 years that whatever. So I'm like, I'm just going to brush that off. The waitress comes over. She's so lovely. She recommends a few dishes for us, and he doesn't drink, but I'm like, I clearly need a glass of wine for this situation. So I get a glass of wine. He orders everything that she doesn't recommend, also doesn't consult me. The one thing I say is I don't want anchovies, and he's like, I think I'm in a fish mood, which, okay, what makes you think that I would want that from saying the one thing I don't want on this menu is anchovies? Proceeds to order like fish dishes, whatever. The waitress says, this is like no food. You guys should order another entree or at least a small dish. Are you guys hungry? He goes, no, I'm not. Hi. You invited me to dinner. Do you care to even ask me if I want to eat? So I look at the waitress. I'm like, we'll add the tomato dish. It sounds lovely. So she walks away. And, he gets a huge bottle of sparkling water, which I might forget to add this detail. At the end of the dinner, the entire thing is done. He goes, that was the best water I've ever had. Do you want to try some? The drop at the bottom? I'm fine. Thank you so much for offering. Okay, so then the waitress goes away, and he goes, I just was about to send something when you got here. Do you mind if I just send something on my phone? So I'm like, yeah, that's fine. He proceeds to spend at least 5 minutes, I'm not exaggerating, it probably was 7 minutes, on his phone. And I'm not bringing my phone out. Like, why the fuck would I bring my phone out at dinner? So I'm just like looking around this restaurant, and at one point I just start looking at him because I'm like, this is unbelievable that I'm just sitting here and he's on his phone. He's also not giving me any explanation or like apologies. He's just sitting on his phone. So after I was like, what were you doing on your phone? And he said he was looking for a file to send to someone, but he can't find the file. So also I'm going to forget to bring this up, but later in the dinner when there's food on the table, he does this again with the phone. I really hope that this video gets to the waitress because I was mortified to be like associated with this man, and I just need her to know, I'm sure she does, but that this was a first date, and it gets so much worse. Okay, so he's a horrible conversationalist. He's 7 years older than me. He has like a really interesting job. He owns a business, which also I'm like, okay, you own your own business. You should at least recognize like, okay, I'm hustling too. We have things in common that we can talk about. The food starts coming down. He's not talking about anything. He's bringing up these things that he has like really interesting. He's like traveled a lot. He's done all these things. I'm asking him about it. One of the things he says, he's like, I've been to Burning Man 6 times. Okay. Red flag, obviously. And I go, oh my gosh, I've never met anyone who's been to Burning Man. Like, can you tell me about it? He goes, oh, there's an HBO documentary. You should just watch it. Dude, we're on a date. Like, help me out. I actually don't give a shit about Burning Man, but like, we need to talk about something. Say something! He's obviously not asking me any questions about myself. He asked me where I grew up and where I go to school. And then he starts making like generalizations about both of these places. The food starts to come and he is not touching the food. He maybe gets like one little piece of chicory salad and he puts it on his plate and he goes, I'm so full. They hustled us. They hustled us. We're at a wine bar. These plates are literally this big. What do you mean? He goes, I just had like a huge lunch at 4. I go, did you not think about the fact that you had a dinner reservation at 8 tonight? And he goes, no, you just like go to these restaurants. Every restaurant does this now where they always say that you should order more. I'm like, dude, there's no food on the table. Then he goes, this is probably 3,000 calories.
What?
You did not just fucking bring that up. And also I was talking to my cousin. She's like, you don't know what relationship people have with food. Like, don't say that. I say to him, I'm like, you have to help me out with this because I don't like leaving restaurants with so much food on the table. It feels very wasteful. So then he picks up one more piece of salad and takes it and eats it. Oh my god, dude, you made the dinner reservation. I didn't even want to do dinner. Why are you not eating anything? At some point, I like motion to the waitress and I'm like, I think we're all set here, even though there's so much food on the table. I feel horrible about this, even though I've been eating like everything that I can, despite him saying how many calories I'm eating. So she takes the food away, she brings the check over, and he goes, can I pay with Apple Pay? Why don't you have your wallet? You're a grown man. Anyways, whatever. He pays with Apple Pay, and we're sitting there, and I'm like, okay, I think let's like head out, whatever. I'm not paying attention to like the bill of it all because that's not my responsibility in this situation. We go outside, we're waiting for probably like 3 minutes for both of our Ubers to come. Guys, This is the worst part. The waitress comes out and she goes, oh, like, I'm so sorry. I think you maybe forgot to, like, sign. He didn't leave a tip. And I gave him the benefit of the doubt for the first, like, 30 seconds. And then I was like, oh my God, this man has been saying that we've been hustled all dinner. This was intentional. No. That was the worst part of the whole day. And then his Uber came. Mine was a minute away, and he got in the Uber and didn't wait for my Uber to come. Oh my God. I've like gaslit myself into downloading Hinge and going on this date because everyone says like, oh, you need like so many experiences and it's practice. I just had a moment this morning where I'm like, I every week go on multiple dinners. Oh my God, he just texted me. Literally, fuck off. I'm constantly meeting new people. I'm putting myself out there. I just don't think this is my journey. I do think that it can be a helpful tool, but like, God bless anyone who's going on Hinge dates, because also it's obviously all looks driven. I'm a very personality driven person. I need to like kiki with someone, and you get to feel that out within the first 5 seconds of meeting someone. If I ever met this person out, like he's very handsome. If I ever met him out, I immediately would be like, no, I'm not having this. I mean, he'd be on his phone in the corner of the restaurant, as my cousin said, so wouldn't even meet him. And yeah, I was supposed to go on another date tonight, but the guy didn't even ask me where I lived when he set where the date should be. And I'm not going to say where it is, but it literally is the worst place for a date spot. And also it's so fucking far from me. So what the hell? Anyways, I'm deleting the apps and I'm gonna give out acquaintance cards. It's more fun, it's a better story. And anyways, I'm gonna spend this evening by myself and have a lovely night.
Story time. This is a nightmare Tinder date. I was talking to this guy named Derek, and we had been talking for like a month, FaceTiming for hours. I really liked him. He really liked me. He lived about an hour away, but then we were like, okay, like, I think it's time for us to meet in person. And so we agreed that we were going to meet at a restaurant in the middle. Well, as I'm driving there, he said that his grandma had fallen and he doesn't feel right about leaving her. And he also said that like his grandma lived with him, but that it was like his house and he owned it and blah, 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 whatever. That don't matter. And so I thought about saying like, well, let's just reschedule. And he was like, no, I don't want to reschedule. I feel really bad. Can you just come to my place and I'll cook you like a really nice fancy dinner? Like, please, I was really excited to see you. I should have said no, but I said yes. I get there and this literally looks like the worst neighborhood in the worst part of town. And I want to just drive away. But he sees me from his porch and he's like, so I was like, great, now I can't drive away. So I go in and he ordered takeout. He ordered Chili's to go. Okay, I thought you were cooking me dinner, but whatever. So now we're eating and we're talking and I'm just feeling very uncomfortable. The house stinks. This was not the plan. You were supposed to meet me. And then I see it. He has a ankle monitor on and he sees that I see it and he tries to like move his leg back so I can't see it. But then he was like, oh, you're probably wondering what that's about. And I'm like, And he's like, my ex lied about a bunch of stuff and I'm on house arrest. And I was like, oh, okay. How long are you on house arrest for? And he said another 8 months. How long have you been on house arrest? Also, you must have done something like significantly wrong to get it on that long. But I'm like, okay. Now I'm just very nervous. Now I want to leave. Now I'm like, what have I got myself into? So then we hear banging on the door. And it is a woman yelling, Derek, get out here, Derek. Whose car is that outside? Whose car is that? I know you got some bitch in there. Oh my God. And I was like, do you have a girlfriend? And he was like, no. He was like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm gonna make her leave. He opens up the door talking about, oh, I'm gonna have Allie beat your ass. Me? I'm not beating anyone's ass. And then she was like, well, tell her come out then. He was like, yeah, she right in here. What? So then she's like stepping in the doorway. He's not letting her inside. But she was like, oh, come out then. And I'm like, I'm leaving. I was like, I have no idea. I don't know nothing about this. I have no part in this. I was like, girl, he's yours. You can have him. I don't want nothing to do with him. And now he's looking at me and he was like, wow, really? Really? After everything we've been through? What have we been through? What have we been through? I'm leaving. Like, yeah, I deleted all the apps. It took me a while to get back out there.
No, because why did literally nobody warn me about how rough the dating scene is right now? Oh, no. I have quite literally not dated in a few years because I've had crazy things going on. So I'm like, okay, let's calm down. Let's get on Hinge. Let's get out there and let's live our life. Okay, so I've been talking to this guy for 2 months. This is our third date, and he was like my top pick, or like I was very excited about him. It just seemed like a lot of our things in our life superficially like added up and could work well together. So I was very excited. But I felt like recently, I mean, not recently, the whole time, his texts and Snapchats have just kind of been like, meh. And there wasn't much like depth or intention or like trying to get to know me better or like giving me more info like about him. So I was like, this third date's gonna be really telling. Okay, awesome. So I'm assuming he's gonna pick me up. I assumed wrong. He wanted to meet there, but it ended up that he had like a thing with his roommate right before. So I was like, that totally makes sense. And he's like, how about we meet at this place to eat and then go to the hockey game at 7:15. So 6, eat and grab drinks, 7:15, go to the game. Perfect. Awesome. The place he suggested was it's like a swanky little food court place. You can grab and eat different things and then all eat together. Yeah, like a food court. It's really cute. And yeah. So I'm parking at 5:55 and I get a text. Hey, I'm going to be like a quarter past that hour, past 6. I just called an Uber. What? An Uber? For context, we don't live in a city where you need to Uber unless you're drunk or plan on being drunk. If you've ever been at Boise, Idaho, you know that. Okay, so I was confused. I didn't say anything about it. And I was like, okay, I'll let you know where I'm sitting when I find a spot. I wanted to be so polite and respectful. And I was like, I need to wait to order food to eat with him. Like, that's so rude of me. People are late. I've been late. That's no big deal. Like, I was really annoyed that he texted me at 5:55 that he had just called an Uber. But I was like, things happen. You can come back from that easy peasy. There's no way I'm holding that against somebody. But I was so freaking hungry. I thought I was going to pass out. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to order food, take a few bites of protein, and then like eat it slower so I can still eat food with him when he gets here. He ends up getting there at like 6:35. And immediately he was like, didn't come over and hug me or anything. Just sat right across from me and he's like, oh, sorry, the Uber was weird. And I'm like, yeah, 30 minutes is crazy. And I should have not said that, but I was just like, I didn't know what to say. I was like, but yeah. And then I was like, you should probably get your food because the lines are long or there's a longer wait time. And he goes, oh, I already ate. What? You already what? I immediately in that moment went to go check my texts because I said, did I make it up? Am I crazy? Did he not say, let's grab something to eat and a drink? No, he did. Yeah, he did. And then he proceeded to be like, you got here right at 6? Like all surprised. I'm like, yeah, that's when you told me to be here. He's like, oh, usually my family and friends like add 15 minutes to whatever I say because I'm usually late. Again, I am too personally. But I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm not your friends or family, and nor did I know that about you, but also it's the third date. That shouldn't be a thing. And if it is a thing, you text the person right when you find out you're going to be that late. But again, that's something you could come back from. Inviting me to eat and a drink and then eating before and showing up half an hour late. He then has the gall to be like, are you okay? You seem a little tense. I have a history of letting boys walk all over me and me being a people pleaser and like letting them treat me like shit. So I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm just was a little hungry and I'm just letting it settle. He gets me a drink there at the restaurant place, whatever. He gets a beer. At the game, he has 2 more additional beers. I have 1 beer. And then we go to a lounge after, and I buy us cocktails. He drinks that cocktail, I drink mine. And then he buys himself another cocktail and only drinks like a third of that because it was too much. Because he was drinking all day with his roommate, which is why they Ubered. And then he changed and got ready and then came to our date and continued to drink more. And so he got sleepy tired by the end, pretty quickly. And I felt like shit. My feelings were hurt. I felt disrespected, and I don't know why I stayed. I just felt like it'd be rude again to leave. At the hockey game, they were playing like lots of 90s songs. He really likes 80s and 90s. And he was like, oh, like, would say so-and-so, like a band name. I'm like, I don't know who that is. I know the song. He's like, you don't know who that is? And it seemed like he was like actually annoyed that I didn't know who it was. And then I'd be like, oh, you know who this is? And he's like, oh, I've heard the song. I'm like, it's Madonna. Like, you know who that is? You know, giving him shit back. And maybe he really didn't actually care. I couldn't really tell or read him well. But there was like, my screensaver changes, and he knows I have cats, but I haven't really talked about them yet. I'm like, oh, these are my cats, Boots and Star. Look how cute and fluffy they are. Like, just being a little silly. And he was singing to a song, and I didn't know if he heard me, so I looked over, and he goes, sorry, I'm really locked in, and said like the artist's name, and like continued to sing, like didn't even say anything about my animals. You don't have to like cats or animals. It's fine. It just gave me the ick. And there was like a few other times like that as well. I feel like I had very good conversation questions or like just like statements about my own life that were very open-ended to like add where he could easily add. I'm like, and this is how I, you know, with my friends and family and how I not interact, but like this is what's important and the people I love, and that's how kind of my life works a little bit. And for him to have an opening of being like, this is how I am with my friends and how we are with each other and how we keep in touch. And, you know, you don't need to go into too much sappy detail, but it was an opening to like, tell me more about yourself. No, there was nothing. It was very snooze fest, if I'm being honest. I just wanted to, I know you can't rush getting to know someone, but when I say it was so surface level, it was like I learned nothing new from the first date because we talked about everything over text. I learned a little bit, but then on the second date, it's pretty much the same. And then the third date, I learned a tiny bit, but nothing that was like important to really dating. It was like little things, tiny things. Okay, so then we go to a lounge afterwards. I lost my mom in May. She was a single mother. I was the only child, just the 2 of us. He knew this, okay? I mentioned having a rough few years with my family, and he also said that he had a rough few years, and we haven't talked about it at all. And so I'm like, okay, this might be the time where we discuss it. And I was like, yeah, after my mom had passed in May. He's like, I'm so sorry. And he was like, yeah, I was right there with both of my parents. I'm going to stop and pause and say that I work with behavioral health. I am a case manager. I'm a psych major. I'm very empathetic. When in the support groups for like losing a parent to early dementia or losing a parent at an young age, you can't even compare different scenarios because they're so different, but you can empathize as much as possible and you kind of have a little bit of connection because you can relate to certain things. So I have no idea what he's gone through. And he's like, I was right there with both my parents. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, are they okay? And he was like, yeah, they both had stage 1 cancer. I'm not diminishing the effects and trauma that cancer has on a family and an individual. I saw my mom go through it with her breast cancer. Stage 3. I saw it. I was never personally scared that she was going to pass from that. Because it was like really early stage 3, and treatable. And I was like, are your parents okay? Are they in remission? He was like, oh yeah. And he told me about his dad, and he's like, yeah, and he's good. And I'm like, and your mom? And he's like, oh yeah, she's good. But yeah, I've been right there. You're 29 years old. And you can't even tell that that's inappropriate to say to somebody? He then asks what she passed from. I give him the synopsis of frontotemporal dementia and then my grandpa's Lewy body dementia, and it all happened within a few years, and why it was very traumatic for my family and I, and it was a lot. And again, single mother, only child. He has multiple siblings. He has both parents. and continues to say, I was right there. And not everybody has the right things to say when you talk about death. It's uncomfortable. Absolutely. But after I explained what they both passed from, he was like, yeah, people die. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Oh, I know. You don't, but I do. Just kidding. Just kidding. Yep. It was an awesome date.
Story time of the worst date that I have ever been on. This is fresh out of my last relationship, so standards were here. They should have been here. This person reached out to me on Instagram, and at that point, I haven't really, like, gone out with a lot of people, so I'm like, okay, I deserve to, like, go to a nice dinner and be wined and dined. Like, I deserve that. In my last relationship, that was not a thing, so, like, I was like, you know what? That might be nice. So he picks this restaurant in Philly, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I have to drive there though. Like, do you mind if we like go to somewhere in South Jersey? He's like, no, this is such a good place. You're gonna absolutely love it. I drive to his place. We walk over together. Before he picked the place, I texted him. I'm like, hey, just so you know, I am gluten-free. So like, that's really annoying to look at on menus, but like, if this place doesn't have any gluten-free stuff, like, I can't eat anything. And he's like, no, you're fine. You're fine. This place will have something for you. So we go. And I look on the menu. There was one thing that I could have that was gluten-free. One singular thing. And then he finds his friends at the bar and then proceeds to have them sit with us on the date. So all of these boys are now eating all of these things in front of me that I can't have, yapping, having a great time, guy time, while I'm just sitting there like, I wanted to leave so bad. But again, right out of a relationship, I didn't know, my standards weren't there, okay? My standards weren't there. Now, me today, just say, this is not a date anymore. Your friends are here. I'll let you have guy time. I'm gonna head home. Respectfully. So him and his friends are, kikiing, doing what they do. And I'm sitting there, and then I proceed to say, okay, like, there's only one thing that I can eat on the menu. And he goes, oh, I hate that. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it either, but I have nothing else to choose from. I ask if they have gluten-free pasta. They do not. I ask if they have gluten-free pizza. They do not. They don't even have gluten-free mashed potatoes. Huh? I end up ordering the only thing that I could eat. I don't condone this, but because I was having such an awful time, I proceed to maybe drink a whole bottle of wine. 3/4 of the bottle of wine. And I'm not, like, drunk or anything. But, like, I shouldn't drive home. Like, no shot in hell should I drive home. I'll just walk back with him, and then I'll order an Uber or something, because that's where my car is, and there's some stuff in my car that I want to take out. So we walk back, keep in mind, dinner's done, and his friends are now walking back with us. So now it's a guy's night with me there. Yeah, it's so fun. And keep in mind, these friends were not gentlemanly whatsoever. None of them were holding the door open for me. They're the type to open the door and walk through themselves and like just like push it to have me go through after. We're how old? There are 10-year-old boys that wouldn't do that, but whatever. To each their own. My mom calls me up screaming at me because I'm like, Mom, I shouldn't drive home. I drank too much to drive home. Like, I don't feel comfortable driving home. She's screaming at me, I told you not to do that shit. That's so fucking stupid. You're such an idiot. And I'm like, I do not need to be screamed at right now. I am dealing with a lot, okay? I'm about to hit a bitch. Like, I can't be screamed at right now. Look on Uber. All the Ubers, $150 plus. Lyft, oh, baby, even worse. Lyft was more expensive. I tell him, because I'm thinking, okay, he might be a gentleman because his friends bombarded our date. His friends are now here in his apartment. Maybe he might offer to pay for my Uber. Sorry, I'm gonna use what I got. So I'm like, oh, the Ubers are so expensive. You would think a man would be like, let me order it for you. I know the date probably didn't go as planned, because keep in mind, at this point, I'm mute. Like, I'm like, I don't even want to say anything. Like, if I say anything, it's gonna be mean. So I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. You would think a normal man would be like, let me order it for you. I'm sorry about the date. Blah, blah, blah. I'd love to go out with you again when my friends don't bombard our date, keep in mind, but he allowed them to come over. They didn't just, like, up and come over. He, like, went over to them, talked to them at the bar for 20 minutes, then brought them back while I sat there alone. Yup, love that. And proceeds to say, oh, darn, I guess you have to sleep over. You think I'm sleeping over after this? You think I'm sleeping over after this. Like, you genuinely think I want to spend more time with you. Like, are we crazy? I call up my very angry mother and I'm like, Mom, you're gonna hate me. You need to come pick me up. More screaming ensues. But then she was like, fine, I'll come pick you up. I'm getting you out of this situation. Hi, babe. So then my mom comes and picks me up. I get a nice little talking to on the ride home. The next day, I then have to text this man because my keys were in his fucking place. My keys were in his place. Why I left my keys in there, I don't know. I had a quarter bottle of wine. Like, dumbass. I now have to text him again. Hey, I left my keys there. Can I, like, come in and grab them? I'm grabbing my car. Yes, then I had to see him again. And my mom had to drive me back to the city to get my car. Yeah, wasn't fun. We never spoke again. He has tried to text me, but I am good. I'm good on that. There's no need to respond. Thank you, Melania. I know. So that is a story time of the worst date I have ever been on. It's lovely. Taught me to keep my standards high, because if someone can't meet your standards, don't go out with them, sweetie.
I happened to go on the worst date I've ever been on in my life this year. So this is that story. I met this guy through mutual friends at an art event, so in the wild, so to speak. And he seemed normal, nice, pretty funny. He ended up getting my number that night and texting me either the next day or next couple of days and asking me out. He set up this date over text and he was like, I snagged a res at this restaurant. It's like the hottest restaurant in Pittsburgh. Snagged us a res on this day, like how about you come over beforehand? I have a bottle of wine I've been meaning to open. We'll go to the restaurant from there. And I was like, cool, love a plan. Ordinarily, I do not go to guys' houses on the first date or have them pick me up, just basic safety reasons. But because we had mutual friends, people in common, I was like, I have nothing to worry about here. The day of the date comes, I go over to his house and we're just hanging out in his kitchen, pours us some wine. And he was kind of spitting up a game about his wine knowledge. And this was like a $10 bottle of something. I'm really not picky when it comes to wine. But that was my first little, you've been wanting to open this? Okay. So we're just chatting, conversation's relatively easy. Like, he's not the warmest or most inviting person ever, but I can kind of shoot the shit with anyone. So it was no big deal. And I knew that the reservation he made was for 7:30 and I got to his house at like 6:45. 7:20 rolls around and I'm like, should we start thinking about like heading to the restaurant? He's like, yeah, let me look at Ubers. So we continue talking and he's looking at Ubers. From his behavior, I could tell like, this looks like a fake task that you're doing. It doesn't look like you're actually booking anything or I don't know. So a couple more minutes go by and he's like, I'll just let the reservations go and we can go a little bit later and walk in and sit at the bar. And I was like, okay, I mean, you've been there before. If that's how they roll, then cool. He pours us a little bit more wine. We're hanging out, like an hour goes by. At this point, I'm hungry. I was really looking forward to trying this restaurant. So I said to him, I'm gonna use the restroom, but let's start thinking about getting food. So I come back and we're talking about other shit and another like 45 minutes goes by. I fully take responsibility for not just leaving when this was clearly going nowhere. He's like, yeah, I mean, we could like, let's check Uber Eats. Like we could always order something here and just eat in. Okay, so clearly we're not going to this restaurant. That's a bummer. It's a weeknight in Pittsburgh. And if you're from Pittsburgh, you know that kitchens close early. It's hard to find someplace that is open past 9 p.m. on your average weekday. We end up walking to get pizza at this place by his house. My plan was like, I'm gonna slam a slice or two and get myself home. Clearly there were no reservations. Clearly he just wanted to get me in his house. I'm eating my pizza. We're sitting on his couch. We're still talking. We're talking about whatever. It was nothing notable. I'm finishing my food. We're wrapping up the conversation. And he goes, so do you want to watch a movie or something? And I'm like, no, I can't commit to a whole movie. I gotta get myself home. I gotta get up early tomorrow, whatever I said. And he was like, okay, do you want to make out? And The way he asked it so bluntly, I was just like, it truly felt like it came out of nowhere. And so I was just like, you can kiss me, I guess. So he wastes no time. He is on top of me. And when I tell you, it was the most aggressive, disgusting, like he was hitting his vape all night. And so I could taste this fake chemically, like so unpleasant. He was literally making out with me as if he hated me. Like, you know how biting, hair pulling can be hot sometimes? This was not hot. It was painful, and I was like sore the next day. And at this point, I'm just like, oh my god, this is how do I get myself out of this, right? His shirt comes off, and I'm wearing this denim romper. So he sits back and he goes, so is this thing coming off? Like, to me, I just look at him and I'm like, well, considering I'm not having sex with you, I would say probably not. He goes, oh, why not? And I was like, I just know myself. I don't sleep with people on the first date. Like, that's just not what I do. And he goes on this whole rant about how, like, oh, society has so much shame around sex. It was absurd. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna go. He doesn't walk me to my car. He doesn't do any, like, it was the worst. Call me naive for not leaving earlier, but I'm an optimist. I like to believe in the best in people. And clearly he just kept showing me the worst.
Buffers, I've got a story time for you guys. The streets are cold and they're bad. Anyway, guys, so me as someone who's been single for 2 years now, going on 3, actually, considering that we're in July and now of 2026, it's almost going on 3 years actually. But anyway, I was like, this year I'm putting myself out there. I'm gonna try dating, I'm gonna try exploring. I am just going to try bandla because I am also just like at this nila namatota anyway. So Shapie, fast forward, meet as a Bryanston, yabo, Evil, but post about it. I saw the poster veleka opening day, wabo. Ngithathe iposter and posted that side on WhatsApp, and I'm like, oh, I actually want to go on a solo date and everything, because also I just resigned from a job, so I had so much time on my hands and everything. I was like, oh, you know what, actually I would not mind just enjoy a chilled night out. So I really genuinely wanted to go on a solo date. Of course, men, I'm destroying your peace. He responds, this guy responds, right? Guy that I've been talking to responds to my status. He's like, no, don't go alone, let me go with you. You understand? So at that point, the suggestion sounded great. I mean, the conversations were going great, and I didn't think, honestly, it would be such a bad thing for him to just take along, you know? Okay, cool. I'm like, nah, dope, you can come join me and everything. I tell him what time I want to be there, what time I want to leave and everything. Then he says, okay, cool, I'll come get you. Mind you guys, this man was 2 hours late, right? I kept on telling him Gokala also. Like the first hour when he was late, I was like, my guy, let's wrap it up. It's okay. We don't have to do this today. We literally can find another date. But he was still insisting. Shapie, guess mama nami ngithanda izinto. I let him pick me up. He came, he picked me up. Now on our way to the restaurant, he starts asking me the questions. Ati, so tell me, are you a 50-50 kind of girl? Wati or 70-30 kind of girl? Just giving me different percentages way too. And immediately my heart sank. My heart sank because I was like, I know where this is going. I know. So I try to keep my cool. Try not to show obviously that, oh, I'm a little bit worried now. And I answer him, I'm like, listen, I don't mind being a 50-50 kind of girl, but only when a relationship gets to a certain point. I do believe that once we start being serious with each other, like 2 incomes are better than 1. You understand? I'm of that notion. Hi, sishiye lapho indaba. Yeah, but no, actually I'm lying. Asishiyanga lapho indaba. After I said that, he then says to me, he's like, so manje, where we are going, who's gonna pay for that? Yabo? And then I'm like to him, you? Because also bearing in mind, yes, we had been talking over the phone, but this is our first outing together, like our first date, I guess if you want to call it that. And okay, now he's asking me this. And obviously, first date, guys, I do believe that the man should pay. Like, come on. I feel like it's just decency. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, I tell him that, nah, mate, you're paying. He then says, kanjani, when you are the one that invited me. And I'm like, hold up, sir. Wait a minute. When did I invite you? You inserted yourself into my plans. Wo uthe ufuna ukuza nami. So, ngikuinvite nina. Where's the invitation? Uyanget? So, anyway, shabike guy athi ngimtshele ukuthi ngibone ukuthi now we're having a back and forth about who's gonna pay, who's not gonna pay. Ngivele ngimtshele ngithi, my guy, actually it's fine. You know, I'll pay for my stuff, you just pay for yours. Yabo. But I just know that if I pay for my bill, you are friend zoned after this. You're not coming out of the friend zone. You know? And then he says, okay, cool. Nagdala, that's actually what he always wanted. He actually just wanted to be friends with me. Right, I bit. Minangi chilled. Get to the restaurant. Get pissed as fuck, if I'm being honest. Ngavele ngashela ukuthi what a waste of my time. I'm just gonna chill, get one drink, and then Uber myself back home, because at this point I really did not even want to go back home with him. Yabo. Cool, the waiter comes. He's like, oh, do you guys want food? You know how the situation works in meat to go to, you have to go pick your meat and then back and everything like that. Shop. He's asking, he's like, are we gonna eat? And then Mina, I straight up tell him, I was like, yo, listen, I am not hungry. I'm just gonna have a drink. Yabo. And then guy says ukuthi, he'll eat something and everything. So uweta mthathe bayokhetha inyama, I guess bakhethe. Makabuya ke uguy nowethu tafuleni umuntu sekathi he left his card. He left his card in his car. I looked at him and I was just like, go get it. Go get it. And then there was a pause. Like, really, like once I said that, there was a pause in his face. It was like he was expecting me to say, Gucci, no, it's fine, I'll pay for you and everything like that. But like, honey, I was not budging. Especially after the conversation that we had in the car. Yeah, maybe if we hadn't had that conversation, maybe I would have been naive enough actually to pay for the dummy. We understand. But anyway, I was just like, go get it. Sharp, he stands up, he goes and gets his card. Guys, do you think that man came back? He never came back. He never came back. Ugyolanda ikhathi lakhe emotweni. Wabeseka kanje. Ngixoxeleni. So now ngiyabona ukuthi hayi kushaya 30 minutes akabuyi. And I'm still like, in my mind I'm like, did he really just leave? You know? And so, like, the waiter comes in, he's like, oh, his meat is ready and everything like that. And I'm just like, I don't think he's coming back, you know? So now the waiter is like, so what are we going to do with this food? And I'm like, I don't know. You heard me say I don't want food, but I'm happy to pay for my drink. We understand. And this video is really not about meat bandla. I understand where that waiter was coming from. I understand, but I also don't understand, because in the same breath, I really do feel like, first of all, you should have waited for the guy to come back. But ukuthi uzobraya umuntu angakabhadali nokuyibhadala imali, and even after hearing me ukuthi I don't want any food, I'm still expected to pay for leyo nyama leyo. That was low but annoying, I don't want to lie. But anyway, it's fine. I was really lucky enough that my friend was actually having dinner with her colleagues at that very same shopping center, Uko. They were at Uko, right? So then as I'm telling her this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what happened. She's like, oh my gosh, where are you? And we just so happened to be at the same shopping center. So she came up and with her colleagues as well. And one of the colleagues is like, I think married or engaged or something like that. So the fiance/husband was like, oh, it's fine. Let me pay for the food and then you can bring it home and stuff like that. And so, yeah, that's how we ended up, I guess, paying for his meat. My drinks were always sorted. Like Astropez A1. So ngayibhadalela bandla Astropez yami A1. But that was my date, and that was the last date I went on. And I don't think I will go on another one anytime soon, because genuinely, I think, I don't know what it is about me. I don't know why men get intimidated. Intimidation, I don't know what to call it, but what the fuck? How do you even explain something like that? Uzothini kumuntu, why did he not come back? Because people keep on asking me, why didn't he come back? And I'm just like, guys, I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't come back. I really don't. Maybe katanganayo imali. Maybe this is a scam that he's used to doing with other women. Maybe another woman would have offered to pay for him. That's what he's used to. I really don't know what it is. But all I know is Umjolo clearly has something against me, guys. And I'm such a lover girl.
Right, so excuse the crazy work here, but I just came back from a second date with somebody and I ended up walking out of his place. So we went on a date recently and it was really great. He was really sound. Felt like he got like emotional intelligence. Well, I got emotional intelligence energy from him. I got sort of critical thinking skills energy from him. I got this energy from him that he was like clearly somebody who's quite reflective and interrogated like his own thoughts and stuff. You know, he's on a healing journey. I was like, and plus he was really fucking hot. So I was like, in my head, I was like, yay! Like finally starting to find men who are both attractive physically and that I find really fit, but also who are, you know, done a lot of the internal work as well. Anyway, I got really good advice from him. I thought he was nice and we had a lot of fun. The first date was great. Anyway, arranged a second date. He was gonna like cook me food at his apartment. Anyway, got there, it was really good. We sat outside in the sun, had food, drinks, it was really lovely. We had like really great chats. And it was going really well. Like I was actually having a really good time and didn't really get any bad vibes at all. And anyway, we were talking about feminism, we were talking about patriarchy, we were talking about like just, you know, family dynamics and so on. And he was always asking questions, you know, he was making a lot of effort. So I was just like, oh, this is really refreshing. And I remember like looking at him and just being like, this is so great that, you know, this guy's like, you know, he's like muscly, he's tall, he's attractive, got nice hair, like whatever, nice looking man. And also all these kind of internal things that I really appreciate in a man. It was really attractive. Anyway, he was like, he was, oh, I never really asked you, but like, what did you think of my profile when you saw it on Hinge? I was like, oh, I think you had a really nice face. Like I was really drawn to your face. You just look really good. And I just like your vibe, like clearly confident in yourself. And then I wouldn't ever ask this question off the bat. Like I don't really care what people think of my profile. Like I don't think like I really need sort of validation or anything like that. But I just reciprocated the question, just said, well, what do you think about mine? Like, not because I actually really care, but more that I was just reciprocating, like, and you kind of thing. And he was like, oh, well, I didn't think it was all that, or your profile was all that, but, and then he went to go on to explain some other bullshit about like, yeah, but, you know, when I saw you in person, I just thought you were like really pretty. But like, yeah. And I was like, and my face started, I was like smiling, grinning at him. And then suddenly when he said that comment, I was just like, slowly, I was just like, oh, fuck. Another one bites the fucking dust. But I gave him a chance. I was like, in my head, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let him explain. So I was like, what do you mean? And he started to kind of like fumble and try and explain himself. I think he knew at this point that he kind of said something insensitive and clumsy. So I gave him a second chance to kind of like explain it a bit more, just in case it was like, you know, he was trying to explain something different. And he was like, no, I just, you know, I think obviously in person, like, you're beautiful. I'm like, okay. And he was like, yeah, but I mean, you know, when I first saw the profile, I just thought, you know, she's like average, but like, you know, I'll see what she's saying. And it's like, I'm my sense of self is strong, you know, I'm not gonna listen to that and think like, oh no, I must be ugly. Like, no, girl, please. But I will not tolerate a man that negs. I will not tolerate a man who makes clumsy comments. You don't say that shit to anybody. I would never dream of saying to somebody that I'm on a date with or like interested in, especially that I'm on like second date with, I might want to pursue something with. I would never, even if that was my experience, even if I maybe like did think, you know, oh, that they're okay, but I'll see what they're like in person. Even if that had happened, I would never mention that because that's just a mean thing to say. It's insensitive. Don't be doing that. Anyway, I he said this comment, and it just made me feel like, sort of like, he was trying to sort of say, like, well, I gave you a chance kind of thing. So I was just like, okay. And I just picked up my shit, and I went to go put my shoes on. He was like, you leaving? I was like, yeah. And he was like, what? No, sorry. Like, I didn't mean, like, I didn't, and started to, like, fumble. I was like, hang on, I need to go check that. Brought everything, went back into the kitchen. He was, like, trying to block the way a little bit. He was like, please don't leave. I was like, nope. No man is going to call me average. Or, like, something like, yeah, I'm not about to be called average by a man, or something like that. I think that's what I said. And just I was like, bye, literally exactly like that. And left. And obviously afterwards I was just like, oh, this is so annoying. But, you know, in my head I'm just thinking, somebody who is emotionally intelligent, somebody who really likes me, would never dream of making me feel less than, or make a comment like that, or try, even if it wasn't negging, even if it was clumsiness, which I think it was. He was just clumsy with his words. I gave him a chance to explain further. He still fucked it. Yeah, I won't tolerate that. Like, I actually won't, because why on earth would I tolerate somebody who hasn't got the self-awareness to know that that's just not appropriate? And also, why would I want to date somebody who thought at any point that I was average? No, I want the person that I'm with, or the person I'm seeing, to think that I was hot as fuck on apps or in person, either way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want them to look at me and be like, wow, I can't believe that I get to, like, date this person. I can't believe I get to engage with this person, because that's how I feel about, or would want to feel about, the person that I'm dating, you know? Like, I'm really lucky to be here. I'm like, it's a privilege to be here. Don't be making comments like that. Be sensitive. And this is the sort of shit where men are like, I don't know what I did wrong. You're immature, you're clumsy, you have no self-awareness, and you fumble hot as fuck women because you don't have the emotional intelligence to understand that you shouldn't make certain comments, that you shouldn't be trying to degrade women at every opportunity you get. Honestly, get in the bin.
Me and my ex-husband split 3 months ago. We're living in the same house together. We have a child together. 50-50 childcare. If it's my night off, I'm somewhere else. You can't catch me. I'm moving fast. Last night I decided to stay home. I just stayed in my bedroom, watched TV, did some crocheting. My ex-husband made me dinner. That's so nice. But then I was still hungry, so I texted a boy that I have met before, and I said, will you get me food? And he said, what do you want? Just like that, I got a shawarma poutine delivered to my door, plus some cheesecake. I ran downstairs. Okay, my ex-husband, I'm sorry. My ex-husband and my toddler are just like playing. Precious. I'm skittering away like a little whore to get my food. I run back upstairs. Nobody notices. Nobody needs to know. I eat it. But again, I've already eaten dinner, so I didn't finish it. So I have to run back downstairs, put it in the fridge. I get caught. My ex, he says, did you order food? I said, I got food. I didn't order it. And he said, okay. Did you know that you can just ask men to send you food and they'll do it? Men, they're so cute.
How do I find confidence in my body and wearing what I want? So when I was little, my grandma told me that any body part I showed the world besides my hands and face would be burned in Muslim hell, which I think is just like regular hell but in Arabic. Anyways, at that point I'd already shown the world my legs, arms, and torso, so I figured I might as well just keep displaying them to get my hell's worth. In other words, ladies, there's no turning back.
Me meet man on Hinge. Man asked for my number. Me give man my number. Man tried to take me out. Me busy. Me working 2 jobs. Me doing nails. Me serving tables. Me making my bag. Finally, me have night off. Me say, let's go out. Man say yes. Downtown? Me say sure. Of course. Man ask, pick you up? Me say no. Man, no need to know where I live. Me and man meet downtown. Man get there first. Me realize man acting a little weird. Me and man go to sushi spot. Man tell me no hungry. Man order beer and 2 shots. Man take both shots himself. Me think, weird. Me order sushi. Man no eat the sushi. Man eat a couple pieces, but not much. Man order another round of shots. For man. Me like, ding ding. Red flag. Man is from Pahokee. If you know, you know. Man peaked in high school. Man talking about high school. Man keep going to bathroom every 5 minutes. Me little sus. Me not realizing. Me and man finished dinner. Me ate. Man did not. Man now 4 or 5 shots deep. Me like 2 drinks. We go to other bar. Man order more shots. Me realizing me know what man is doing. Man keeps going to bathroom. It's snowing for man. Me put 2 and 2 together. Me realize, gotta go. Me and man go to rooftop bar. Me finally able to get away a little bit. Man finds me. Man becomes belligerent. Me try to go get man food. Me try to give man food. Man argumentative. Man yelling in my face. Man says, you're not even important to me. Me say, you right. Me leave man in middle of street. Me go find other friends at other bar. Man texting me. Man saying you fat. Man saying you all hips. Me say, man crazy. Blocked. Me find out later, man got arrested. Man still look at my shit today. Me say, hello, Mike.
This is the story time of the worst date that I've been on in my entire life. Let's call this guy Edwin because that was his name. So Edwin and I had been on only 2 dates and we were talking for like less than like 3 weeks. He was a really nice guy. Like after our first date, it was my birthday a week later and he gave me like champagne and roses, just like randomly dropped them off at my apartment. So I was like, he's a vibe. So Edwin and I are planning our 3rd date and he's like, oh, it's your turn to pamper me. Immediately I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, this date's on you. Like you're gonna plan it, you're gonna pay for it, you're gonna do everything. And I'm like, because I'd assume that's a fucking joke. So I keep saying to him, I'm like, you're so funny. But I go ahead and I like book the date. I just book one of like my favorite sushi spots. And I'm like, he's like not gonna make me pay. That'd be absolutely insane. Listen, I would not mind paying for a date if I was in a relationship with somebody, not when I'm going on the 3rd fucking date and you're supposed to impress me to try and get in my pants. So the whole week we're talking about this and he's like, can't wait for your treat. And now I'm starting to get fucking triggered because in my past relationships, I was like the breadwinner. So I always paid for fucking everything and I dated losers. So they expected me to pay for everything. So we get to the sushi restaurant, everything's going great. And then they're like, oh, what do you guys want to drink? Like the waiter's like, what do you guys want to drink? And he's like, ooh, I'm gonna get something fancy because Livy's paying today. What? So then I'm like, okay, Livy, time to be vulnerable. Let him know about your past. So I let him know. I'm like, hey, like, just so you know, this is really triggering me because I was used in my past relationships because I was the breadwinner. So this is like super triggering for me. And if this is like a joke to you, it's really not funny. He's like, I'm not kidding. And I'm like, what? He's still kidding. So the bill comes. And he slides it my way. And he's like, here you go. Man, if you're watching, there's nothing that makes a woman drier in the entire world than you like literally sliding the bill towards her. Like, that's pathetic. But I say, fuck it. You know what? If I'm going to pay like a baller. So I pull out like hundreds. Go to bar 2.
I went on a 24-hour first date against my will with a man who snatched me up from the bar when the guy I was supposed to be on the date with stood me up. Okay, later that night, the guy I was supposed to be on a date with ended up at this guy's place. So, story time. I was 23. I used to live in Del Mar, California in a little apartment by the beach. It was beautiful. And there was this dive bar down the street. One day I go out after my shift at this restaurant I worked at and I ran into the bouncer at the door and I was like, oh my God, you're the cutest guy I've ever seen. And I get his number, yada, yada. We end up texting for a couple weeks and plan on going on a date at that bar a couple weeks later. Okay. Date and time confirmed. I show up. I'm prompt. I'm ready to go. I'm excited to see him because he's totally my type, tall, dark, and handsome. Buff. Obviously, he's a bouncer. And I was so excited about it. And I show up. He's not there. I go to the bar to grab a drink to wait. It's like 15 minutes. It's like 20, 30. Okay. I'm texting him after about 20. I gave him way too much time. To my right, descending from the heavens, actually from hell, excuse me, this tall, blonde hair, blue-eyed, like piercing blue eyes. Not my type though. Like, I'm not into the blondes, but total California, like bro, surfer bro vibes. Comes next to me and instantly is just like, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Oh my God, can I buy you a drink? Oh, what's your name? Like, completely love bombing, acting psycho immediately, but just so drawn to me. And I told him I shouldn't have been so nice. And this is the thing with age, like you get smarter and you get wiser. And I was just so stupid and naive. And I should have just told this guy to fuck off. But again, we ended up going on I ended up staying the night at his place and like going to brunch with him the next day. We'll get there. Let's call this blonde guy Chad and the guy I was supposed to be on a date with, Connor. Okay, so Connor doesn't show up. Chad and I are having a beer. We're hanging out, we're talking. He knows I was stood up because I disclosed that information, and now he's like, great, I'm the hero. I get to rescue the damsel in distress and sweep her up and take her home with me. I don't know how we ended up at his place, but later that night, I end up at his place. And it's down the street. He's a local to this area. And we go in, and there's a Christmas tree. It's just a shitbox apartment, okay? It's not anything special. I just want to say that I am so mortified retelling this story because I had zero interest in this man, but he was so persistent and so like, he like wouldn't fucking get away from me. And I wasn't even trying. I was just kind of like enjoying this guy being nice to me. I don't know. It was just kind of nice, but looking back, I'm like, it was too much, okay? We end up back at his place, and I'm pretty sure he asked me to marry him in the car on the way there. There's another roommate in the bedroom somewhere, or a girl in there. I'm not sure what was going on. We hang out, we're like listening to music. He's just like telling me his life story, how much he loves me. It was so much. I honestly think I was getting entertained by it and kind of just laughing in my head about it the whole time because I couldn't believe this man. So he plays a movie. It's like the fucking Goonies. It's always the Goonies or some shit. When we first got there, that was a girl, not his roommate in the bedroom, because later his roommate, who's a bartender at that bar, came home and got with her, all night long, which was so intense and like too much for me. It's just always uncomfortable and awkward. The place was a 2-bedroom, okay? It wasn't that big. Then of course he has to show me his bedroom. I do believe there was a headboard. I'll give him that. It did have a headboard. Somehow we got in his bed. Do not ask. This man, you guys, it was like a 13-year-old. They always say they want to cuddle, right? Somehow I said yes to that. And you guys, he was the most horny, whiny, complaining, like, why am I not inside of you now kind of guy. I got out of that bed so quick. I get out of the bed. The man I was supposed to be on a date with walks in. Goonies are playing. Christmas trees lit. I think there was a dog running around. There's always a random dog. Connor, Chad, and I kick it on the couch. Now there's 3 of us shooting the shit. This man acts like he doesn't even know me. I'm like, we booked the date for tonight. Like, what the fuck? Okay, whatever. Time goes on. We hang for a little bit. He leaves. I end up sleeping in this man's bed. Let's take a moment of silence for my younger self. What the fuck was I doing? It was probably like 4 or 5 a.m. at this point. Nothing happened. And again, he was so whiny and like he was such a little bitch boy, complainy, like, why don't you, like, you guys, I wake up in the morning to a bouquet of long stem red roses and a 24-pack of White Claws in my fucking face. This man escaped the bed at God knows what hour to go to the local grocery store to bring this home to me. He cracks one open. It's like 10 a.m. He's drinking. He's like, hey, like, I need you to drive my truck to my mom's house. And if you want a change of clothes, you can go back to your place. Somehow I drove him to his mom's house. I don't know what he needed there, but like he went to his mom's house down the street. His whole plan was brunch. So we went back to my place. I changed clothes there. And by the way, when he was at his mom's house, she was cussing him out. I don't know. I was in the Toyota Tacoma in the driveway with the window down. I heard some shit. But anyways, we went to brunch. It was at this local brewery overlooking a lagoon in Del Mar, California, where I lived, right? We end up sitting at the bar. We get food. I don't know why I ordered a drink. I was so hungover. This is like not like me. Nothing about this 24 hours was like me. I guess it was because I did it. But it was kind of an outer body experience. Like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? Who am I? Like, what is this? So we get food. We have a beer. And the worst part of this 24-hour one-sided date situationship with this Chad man was that when I was like eating a breakfast taco. I set it down. He forcibly puts his mouth on mine and I was just like, ugh, like didn't want it, wasn't expecting that. What the fuck are you doing? Get me out of here. I immediately was like, I need to leave. And I left. Never saw this man again. But within 5 minutes of me leaving his life, it was, I can't live without you text. Like, where are you? I need you. All this. I blocked his number so fast. So yeah, that was my young, naive, super stupid 24-hour date story. And then the guy that I was supposed to go on a date with, like, that just ended up being nothing. We didn't talk ever again because I was just like, you're weird. You're so weird. You acted like I didn't exist, that you didn't even know me when you like came over to this. They were like buddies. It was so random, but it's a small town. But the things we do when we're younger. Please make me feel less crazy in the comments. Does anyone else have a comparable story to share? I'd love to hear you. And my Dolce Glow spray tan on the hands just did not turn out how I love Dolce Glow, just didn't do it properly. Good night. Goodbye.
I want to do a story time of the disaster date I went on yesterday. And yes, I just woke up, but beside the point. As a plus size woman, if you are plus sized, if you are somebody who has always had body issues, body dysmorphia, like, you know how much anxiety you have when it comes to dating in the dating world. I matched with a guy last week, and for 5 days straight, we were talking on the phone every single night. He liked me so much that he planned a date for last night. And on the phone at one point, he told me that he had abs. That sent me spiraling. Because what do you mean you have abs? As a bigger woman, I have never considered even like trying to date somebody who has had abs. Because like, I do not have abs. Like, I do not have abs. And it's always been kind of like a body feature on a person that has been like deemed for me as very unattainable. Like, somebody with abs has always been like, in my effed up brain, somebody who is like way out of my league, you know, someone who's obviously very active and isn't like, it's not attainable for me. And I start having anxiety leading up to the date. Like, the night before, I am freaking out. I'm like, I have nothing to wear. I have nothing that looks flattering. Like, I'm gonna look fat. I'm freaking out. I even end up like going to a local department store, like running around in circles trying to find something to wear last minute. Literally crying. Like, I was having so much anxiety that I ended up crying. Society tells plus size women that they are not worthy enough. They are not pretty enough to date anybody who is, you know, more fit or deemed as a 10 out of 10, you know, for societal beauty standards. And it's really messed up how that, like, norm really, like, messes somebody's head, especially someone who is plus size, that you feel like you are not worthy to be dating anybody who is fit. So that was pretty much happening like in my brain, and I'm somebody who hasn't really been tapped into my craft in quite a while. So I decided to do, with the help of a friend, I decided to do a ritual to Aphrodite. I literally perform a ritual to Aphrodite asking her to make me beautiful the night before of this disaster date. I shave my legs. I went outside. I never tan. I don't really believe in tanning. I went outside and tanned my chicken legs because my chicken legs are so white. And I wanted to wear, you know, a pretty dress showing my legs. I have spider veins all up and down my legs. I wanted an even skin tone. I wax my armpits. I did a full body shower. The girlies know. Full body shower. I spray myself down with perfume. I beat my face with like a really beautiful, gorgeous makeup beat. I'll insert a picture here. I mean, come on. I shaved the peach fuzz. I put breath mints in my mouth. I made sure that I looked and smelled as attractive as possible for this man. Blowing this man up in my brain, thinking that he is going to be so attractive, he's going to be so out of my league. The day arrives. We meet up. He is standing 20 feet away from me, walking towards me. And in my head, like on his profile, he said he was like 5'8". And there is nothing wrong with like someone who's a little shorter. I've even had a crush on a short king before, but like he told me he was really buff. He told me he had abs. He told me that he was 5'8". He starts walking towards me and I'm like, ooh, that is shorter and smaller and skinnier than I expected. But I'm still going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to judge right away. Now he's like 10 feet away from me. And I notice nose hairs crawling out of each nostril. And not only did he have an insane amount that reached like literally half an inch out of his nose, there were crusties attached to them. Oh my God. I was like, are you freaking kidding me right now? And then, like, again, I people who have acne, people who have hormonal acne, I can't relate. I've been blessed with like really, really nice, smooth skin. People who have hormonal acne, I can't imagine the struggle you're going through. And it is very much out of your control. However, it's like if I had hormonal acne, if I had acne, I would do everything in my power to stay on top of it, to keep up with it. This man had an active pimple on his top lip that was bigger than my pimple patch. Like ready to burst. And he tried touching me throughout the night, even like said he wanted to kiss me. And I thought in my head that if this man kissed me right now, due to the pressure, that thing would have popped in my mouth. The audacity. Like, I have been so anxious all day, all week practically, trying to make myself beautiful for you, putting in all this work and effort, but creating a whole ritual with Aphrodite to look as attractive as possible. And you show up with damn nose hairs and crusty stuck to your nose, active pimple on your mouth. Like, seriously, the audacity. Moral of the story is, like, this was what I took away from this whole experience. Clearly, I'm never going to see that man again because ew. But the moral of the story is, like, ladies, stop being so much in your damn head. Stop putting yourself down. Stop telling yourself that you are unattractive, that you are not worth it, that you know, somebody is out of your league, that you're not worthy of finding someone who's super attractive. Because this experience taught me that I am that bitch. I am that girl. I am attractive. Like, I was thinking he was going to be out of my league. If anything, I was out of his damn league, okay? I was doing community service last night. So, please, like, we're so hard on ourselves as women, like, as it is, you know? Just stop. You are a baddie. And don't forget it.